This is the horrific place where wonderful animal rescuers discovered 66 dogs and one cat living in the most horrible conditions. This hellhole was supposed to be a safe place for these animals, a shelter even. After discovering this horrifying place, the animal rescuers knew they needed to spring in action immediately. The same day, they started a very big rescue operation. Even for the very experienced rescuers, it was an unbelievable sight. Everywhere they looked, they found skeletons, feces, dying dogs, very sick dogs, and even young puppies that were born in this hellhole. A very big team worked day and night to, one by one, take every dog out. A vet on scene gave emergency treatment where needed, and for all the dogs, there was a foster place arranged. In the midst of this big rescue operation, the rescuers saw one special little dog. She was very old and very sick, but the whole time she stood fiercely at the bars of her cage, as if she knew that there finally was coming an end to her dark days living in that hellhole. It looked like she was saying, "I am here, I need help, but I know all of you are helping me and the other dogs." Some of the other dogs in her cage already passed away or were on the edge of passing. She also wasn't anywhere near a stable condition. When it finally was her turn, she wagged her bald tail and looked up to her rescuers. She seems to thank them without words. The vet noticed she was malnourished, had scabies and a bad heart murmur. She needed treatment right away, but she had a chance. It was then that there was a very lovely woman, one of the rescuers, that took her in her arms and said, "I will take care of you, little one." It was the first time in this little dog her life that she felt loving arms around her sick and old body. After all the dogs and cat were rescued, the whole place was demolished. There would never again be one animal that had to live in those horrifying conditions. The special old little dog was taken home by her foster mama. After all these years, she was finally safe, and her life was about to change for more than the better. After arriving home, she looked so happy. She couldn't stop wagging her tail and rolling on her soft dog bed. Finally, she became tired and fell in a very deep and safe sleep. The days went by, and the little old girl became more and more energetic. Her treatment caught on, and she got better by the day. After 2 months, there was a loving new family waiting for her. She was ready to go home. One last trip she had to make, and then she would be home forever. After a very long trip, she finally arrived at her new family. She seems to know that they were her new family. When meeting them for the first time, she stood up on their legs and kissed the face of her new mama. She was already 15 years old, but she was ready to make the best of the time she had left. Her behavior was that from a young dog, playful, always happy, and so unbelievable loving. She was the littlest dog in her new family, but all the other dogs had so much respect for her. After a few weeks, her new mama discovered that when anyone felt down, the special little dog would come up to them and lay on their lap. She gave them the feeling that everything would always going to be okay again. At night, she slept next to her mama. She loved to cuddle up under the blankets and stay there the whole night. Months went by, and the little girl became more and more beautiful. Her fur grew back, and her tail became like a wonderful flag, always held up high by her. When a year almost passed, the little dog became sick. Her heart condition became worse, and there wasn't much time left for her. She spent her days being loved and giving love to all of her family members. Even when she was so sick, she never stopped going up to anyone's lap to cuddle. She learned everyone around her so much about life. And then came the day that this special little dog needed to gain her wings. Her angel time on earth was up, and she needed to go home to heaven. In her last moments, she felt nothing else than love, sweet words spoken to her, and tears falling down on her. She wagged her tail one last time. Knowing she was loved by them made up for all the years she had spent in horror. With the last strength she had, she looked into her mama's eyes, wagged her tail one last time, and let out her last breath. Caddy, the very special little dog, will never be forgotten by anyone that was involved in this horrific rescue.
Katie.